Tonight, we begin with a gentle question that whispers through the quiet corners of millions of bedrooms around the world. Why do so many of us find ourselves reaching for a familiar voice as sleep approaches? Why does the soft murmur of a podcast, the rhythmic cadence of an audiobook, or the gentle whisper of someone speaking slowly seem to cradle our restless minds into stillness? The answer lies not in mystery or magic, but in the extraordinary architecture of your brain, a living masterpiece that has been sculpted by millions of years of evolution to recognize, respond to, and find profound comfort in the human voice. What we'll explore together is a story written in neural pathways and neurotransmitters, a tale of how your brain transforms the simple vibrations we call speech into something far more powerful than sound itself. As you settle in tonight, perhaps already feeling the day's tension beginning to soften, know that every word you're hearing is being processed through one of the most sophisticated systems nature has ever created. Your brain isn't simply listening to these words. It's analyzing them, categorizing them, and most importantly, using them to guide your entire nervous system toward the deep, restorative sleep your body craves. The human voice occupies a unique space in the landscape of sound. Unlike the random noise of traffic or the mechanical hum of appliances, voices carry something special, something your brain has been programmed to recognize and respond to since before you took your first breath. Even in the womb, research shows us, developing brains begin to tune themselves to the rhythm and melody of human speech, particularly the voice of the mother. This isn't coincidence. This is biology at its most elegant, a system that ensures our survival by teaching us, from our earliest moments, that voices represent safety, connection, and care. When you hear a voice speaking gently, especially in the quiet hours of evening, your brain doesn't just process the words. It processes the intention, the emotional undertone, the implicit promise that you are not alone. Let's journey together into the remarkable world of auditory processing, where every syllable you hear begins its transformation from mere vibration into meaning, emotion, and ultimately into the neurochemical recipe for peaceful sleep. When sound waves carrying human speech enter your ear, they embark on a journey that is far more complex and beautiful than you might imagine. The sound waves first encounter your outer ear, that familiar curved structure that acts like a sophisticated funnel, gathering and directing these precious vibrations toward your eardrum. Here, the physical vibrations of speech are converted into mechanical movement, setting in motion a chain of tiny bones in your middle ear that amplify and refine the signal with extraordinary precision. But it's when these signals reach your inner ear that the real magic begins. In the cochlea, a spiral-shaped organ filled with fluid and lined with thousands of hair cells, the mechanical energy of speech is finally transformed into electrical signals that your brain can understand. Each frequency of the human voice, from the lowest bass tones to the highest whispered consonants, is mapped onto specific regions of this remarkable organ. Now, these electrical signals then travel along the auditory nerve to your brainstem, where they encounter the first of many processing stations that will analyze and interpret the voice you're hearing. Even at this early stage, your brain is already beginning to distinguish human voices from other sounds, recognizing the unique acoustic signatures that mark speech as something special, something worth paying attention to. From the brainstem, these signals continue their journey upward to the thalamus, often called the brain's relay station. Here, the auditory information is refined and prepared for its final destination in your cerebral cortex, where the true complexity of voice processing unfolds. The primary auditory cortex, located in your temporal lobe, begins the intricate work of analyzing the pitch, tone, rhythm, and timbre that make each voice unique. But your brain doesn't stop there. The signals spread to surrounding regions that specialize in different aspects of voice processing. Some areas focus on extracting the emotional content of speech, detecting whether a voice sounds calm, anxious, happy, or sad. Other regions work to identify the speaker, comparing the voice you're hearing to the vast library of familiar voices stored in your memory. This process happens with remarkable speed and accuracy, usually within milliseconds of hearing the first syllable. Your brain can distinguish not just what is being said, but who is saying it, how they're feeling, and most importantly, for our purposes tonight, whether this voice represents safety or potential threat. Research has revealed that human voices activate neural networks that extend far beyond simple auditory processing. When you hear a gentle, caring voice, multiple brain systems come online simultaneously. The limbic system, which governs emotion and memory, responds by releasing neurochemicals associated with comfort and relaxation. The social brain networks, which help us navigate relationships and connection, recognize the voice as a signal of companionship and care. Perhaps most remarkably, areas of your brain that are involved in empathy and emotional mirroring begin to resonate with the emotional state conveyed by the voice you're hearing. This is why a calm, soothing voice can literally help calm your own internal state. Your brain, through these mirror-like processes, begins to match its activity patterns to the peaceful rhythms it detects in the speech you're hearing. This neural mirroring helps explain why certain voices seem to have an almost hypnotic quality, why they can slow your heart rate, deepen your breathing, and guide your mind away from the spinning thoughts of the day toward the quiet stillness that precedes sleep. Your brain is not just hearing these words, it's synchronizing with them, allowing the calm, measured cadence of gentle speech to become a template for your own internal rhythms. The magic becomes even more profound when we consider how your brain processes familiar voices compared to unfamiliar ones. When you hear a voice that your brain recognizes as safe and known, whether it's a family member, a trusted friend, or even a narrator whose voice you've grown accustomed to through repeated listening, something beautiful happens in your neural networks. The brain's threat detection systems, which normally maintain a state of vigilant alertness even during the transition to sleep, begin to relax their guard. Research using sophisticated brain imaging has shown that familiar voices produce measurably different patterns of brain activity than unfamiliar ones. Known voices trigger less activation in regions associated with alertness and threat monitoring, while simultaneously increasing activity in areas linked to comfort, trust, and social bonding. This differential processing explains why many people find it easier to fall asleep to the same narrator, the same podcast host, or the same audiobook reader night after night. Your brain learns to associate these specific vocal patterns with safety and sleep, creating what scientists call conditioned relaxation responses. Over time, just hearing these familiar vocal rhythms can trigger the cascade of neurochemical changes that prepare your body and mind for rest. The evolutionary roots of this voice recognition system run deep in our species' history. For millions of years, our ancestors lived in small, tight-knit groups where survival depended on the ability to quickly distinguish between the voices of family members, allies, and potential threats. Those who could rapidly identify and respond appropriately to different voices were more likely to survive and reproduce, passing on these finely tuned auditory processing capabilities to their descendants. In the darkness of prehistoric nights, when visual cues were limited, voices became even more crucial for survival. The ability to recognize a parent's calling voice, a mate's whisper, or a child's cry could mean the difference between life and death. This evolutionary pressure shaped our brains to be exquisitely sensitive to the emotional and social information carried in human speech, particularly during vulnerable times like sleep. Tonight, as you listen to these words, you're benefiting from this ancient evolutionary inheritance. Your brain's response to gentle, caring voices isn't just a pleasant quirk of neurobiology. It's a sophisticated survival mechanism that has been refined over countless generations to help you feel safe, connected, and ready for the restorative sleep that every human being needs. But the story of why voices help us sleep goes beyond mere recognition and familiarity. It extends into the very core of how our nervous system regulates our body's fundamental rhythms, how it decides whether we should remain alert and vigilant or allow ourselves to sink into the vulnerable but necessary state of sleep. This brings us to one of the most important players in your sleep story, a branch of your nervous system that you've probably never consciously noticed, yet which influences every moment of your waking and sleeping life. The parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest system, serves as your body's built-in relaxation mechanism, the biological pathway that transforms stress and alertness into calm and restoration. Throughout your waking hours, another branch of your nervous system, the sympathetic system, keeps you alert, focused, and ready to respond to the demands of daily life. This fight or flight system elevates your heart rate, increases your breathing, heightens your awareness, and maintains the muscle tension that keeps you upright and active. While essential for navigating the complexities of modern life, this state of activation becomes a barrier to sleep when it persists into the evening hours. The transition from wakefulness to sleep requires a fundamental shift in nervous system dominance, a gradual handoff from sympathetic activation to parasympathetic restoration. This is where the gentle power of human voices becomes particularly important. Research has consistently shown that listening to calm, soothing speech can accelerate this crucial transition, helping to tip the balance away from alertness and toward the restful state that makes sleep possible. When you hear a voice that your brain interprets as safe and caring, several remarkable changes begin to occur in your body. Your heart rate starts to slow, often synchronizing subtly with the rhythm and pace of the speech you're hearing. Your breathing becomes deeper and more regular, matching the measured cadence of gentle narration. Blood pressure begins to decrease as blood vessels relax. Muscle tension throughout your body starts to release, beginning with the smaller muscles around your eyes and face and gradually spreading to larger muscle groups. These aren't just subjective feelings of relaxation. They're measurable physiological changes that researchers can track using sophisticated monitoring equipment. Studies have documented how exposure to calm human voices produces consistent decreases in stress hormones like cortisol, while simultaneously increasing the production of neurotransmitters associated with relaxation and well-being, including serotonin and GABA. The voice you're hearing right now is participating in this delicate dance of nervous system regulation, providing your brain with auditory cues that signal safety, comfort, and the permission to begin letting go of the day's accumulated tension. Each gentle word serves as a small invitation for your parasympathetic system to take greater control, guiding your body step by step toward the optimal physiological state for sleep. A logical state for sleep. The remarkable thing about this nervous system transition is how perfectly it mirrors the natural rhythm of human conversation. When someone speaks to you in gentle, measured tones, they're essentially offering their own regulated nervous system as a template for yours to follow. This phenomenon, known in neuroscience as co-regulation, represents one of the most beautiful examples of how human beings are wired to help each other find peace and calm. Think about how a parent's soft voice can soothe a crying infant, or how a friend's steady presence can help you feel calmer during times of stress. These aren't just social niceties. They're biological processes at work, examples of how our nervous systems have evolved to influence and support each other through the simple yet profound medium of voice. This co-regulation process becomes particularly powerful during the transition to sleep, when your nervous system is already primed to shift from activation to restoration. The gentle voice you're hearing serves as an external pacemaker, helping to guide your internal rhythms toward the slower, deeper patterns associated with restful sleep. Your heart begins to match the calm rhythm implied in measured speech, Your breathing synchronizes with the natural pauses and flow of gentle narration. But there's another layer to this story, one that takes us deeper into the social nature of human sleep and the profound ways that voices can transform our internal landscape. Your brain contains specialized cells called mirror neurons, discovered relatively recently in neuroscience research, that fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing the same action. These remarkable neurons don't just respond to visual cues. They're also activated by auditory information, including the emotional states conveyed through voice. When you hear someone speaking in a calm, relaxed manner, your mirror neurons begin to fire in patterns that mirror that emotional state. Your brain literally starts to reflect the tranquility it detects in the voice you're hearing. This neural mirroring helps explain why certain voices seem to have an almost magnetic quality, why they can draw you into their emotional atmosphere so effortlessly. Your brain isn't just processing the words being spoken, it's unconsciously adopting the emotional and physiological state that the voice represents, allowing you to experience secondhand the calm and peace that gentle speech conveys. The process becomes even more sophisticated when we consider how your brain processes different qualities of voice. Research has shown that slower speech patterns, typically those under 150 words per minute, have measurably different effects on the nervous system than faster-paced speech. The brain interprets slower speech as less urgent, less threatening, and more conducive to relaxation. Similarly, voices with lower pitch and softer volume tend to activate the parasympathetic nervous system more effectively than higher-pitched or louder voices. This isn't cultural or learned behavior. It appears to be hardwired into our neurobiology, possibly because lower, softer voices historically signaled less aggressive, more nurturing intentions. The breath patterns embedded in gentle speech also play a crucial role in promoting relaxation. When someone speaks slowly and calmly, they naturally take deeper, more regular breaths between phrases. Your brain picks up on these breathing rhythms and begins to entrain your own respiratory patterns to match them. This breathing synchronization is one of the fastest pathways to activating your parasympathetic nervous system and promoting the physiological changes that lead to sleep. Whispered voices represent perhaps the most potent example of how vocal qualities can influence your nervous system. Whispering requires the speaker to slow down, to breathe more deeply, and to focus more intently on their words. These qualities are automatically transmitted to your brain through the auditory processing pathways we explored earlier. When you hear someone whispering, your brain interprets this as an intimate, safe, and deeply personal form of communication. The rise of ASMR, or autonomous sensory meridian response, in recent years has brought scientific attention to this whisper phenomenon. Researchers have found that ASMR experiences, often triggered by gentle whispering or soft-spoken voices, produce measurable changes in brain activity. These changes include increased activity in regions associated with emotional regulation, social bonding, and relaxation. Brain imaging studies of people experiencing ASMR show activation in areas like the medial prefrontal cortex, which is involved in social cognition and emotional processing, and the anterior cingulate cortex, which plays a role in attention and emotional regulation. Most significantly, these studies have documented increased production of neurotransmitters like serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin during ASMR experiences. Serotonin helps regulate mood and promotes feelings of well-being and contentment. Dopamine is associated with reward and pleasure, creating positive associations with the experience of gentle voices. Oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, promotes feelings of trust, connection, and safety. Together, these neurochemicals create an internal environment that is extraordinarily conducive to relaxation and sleep. The power of these gentle vocal qualities extends beyond immediate relaxation effects. Over time, regular exposure to calming voices can actually help retrain your nervous system to access relaxed states more easily. This process known as neuroplasticity, allows your brain to form new neural pathways that make the transition from alertness to sleep smoother and more natural. Many people who struggle with insomnia or sleep difficulties find that establishing a routine involving gentle voices, whether through audiobooks, podcasts, or meditation recordings, gradually improves their ability to fall asleep, even without these external aids. The brain learns to associate the relaxation response with bedtime, creating what sleep researchers call sleep-promoting conditioned responses. This learning process connects to something even deeper in human experience, the profound role that voices play in our earliest experiences of safety and comfort. From the moment we're born, and even before, human voices serve as our primary connection to the social world that will sustain and protect us throughout our lives. Research on infant development has revealed that newborns show preferential responses to their mother's voice within hours of birth, even when they can't see her face. Brain imaging studies of infants show that familiar, loving voices activate not just auditory processing areas, but also regions associated with emotional regulation, stress reduction, and social bonding. These early experiences with nurturing voices create neural templates that remain active throughout our lives. When you hear a gentle, caring voice as an adult, you're not just processing new auditory information. You're also activating deep neural memories of being cared for, protected, and loved. This activation helps explain why certain voices can make you feel safe and peaceful in ways that go beyond the content of their words. The bedtime routine, a nearly universal human experience across cultures, typically centers around the human voice. Parents read stories, sing lullabies, or simply talk softly to their children as they prepare for sleep. These routines aren't just cultural traditions. They're biologically based practices that help developing nervous systems learn to associate voices with safety, comfort, and the transition to sleep. Adults who maintain some form of voice-based bedtime routine, whether through audiobooks, podcasts, or even recorded meditations, are essentially continuing this ancient practice of using human speech to guide the nervous system toward rest. The brain retains its capacity to respond to these vocal cues throughout life, though many people lose touch with this natural pathway to relaxation in the busy complexity of adult life. Sleep researchers have found that people with insomnia often share certain characteristics in their relationship with bedtime and the transition to sleep. Many report that their minds become more active as they try to fall asleep, racing with thoughts about the day's events or tomorrow's responsibilities. Others describe feeling hypervigilant, unable to let their guard down sufficiently to allow sleep to occur. For these individuals, gentle voices can serve as a bridge between waking consciousness and sleep. The voice provides something for the active mind to focus on, preventing it from spinning off into anxiety or rumination. At the same time, the calming qualities of gentle speech help activate the parasympathetic nervous system and promote the physiological changes necessary for sleep. The content of what's being said matters less than how it's being said. This is why many people can fall asleep to audiobooks they've heard multiple times before, or to podcasts in languages they don't understand. The brain is responding primarily to the vocal qualities, the rhythm, the emotional tone, and the implied safety of the human voice, rather than to the specific information being conveyed. This principle helps explain why silence, despite being free from distractions, isn't always conducive to sleep. For many people, complete silence can actually increase anxiety and alertness. The brain, evolved to monitor the environment for potential threats, may interpret silence as a reason to remain vigilant. The gentle presence of a human voice provides reassurance that the environment is safe, that someone is watching over the situation, allowing the brain's protective mechanisms to relax their guard. The specific neural pathways involved in this voice-induced relaxation extend throughout your brain, creating a cascade of calming effects that reach far beyond simple auditory processing. When your auditory cortex receives signals indicating gentle, safe speech, These signals are relayed to the limbic system, your brain's emotional center. Within the limbic system, the amygdala, which normally scans for threats and triggers stress responses, receives information indicating that the environment is safe. This leads to a reduction in the release of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Simultaneously, other parts of the limbic system, including the hippocampus, which is involved in memory formation and emotional regulation, begin to promote the production of calming neurotransmitters. The hypothalamus, your brain's master regulator of sleep-wake cycles, receives these signals of safety and calm and begins to initiate the complex hormonal changes that promote sleep. This includes increased production of melatonin, the hormone that regulates your circadian rhythms, and decreased production of orexin, a neurotransmitter that promotes wakefulness. These changes ripple throughout your entire nervous system, affecting everything from your muscle tension to your digestive processes. Your heart rate continues to slow, your blood pressure decreases further, and your body temperature begins the subtle decline that signals to your brain that it's time for sleep. The beauty of this process lies in its gentleness and naturalness. Unlike pharmaceutical sleep aids, which often override your natural systems through chemical intervention, voice-induced relaxation works by supporting and enhancing your brain's existing mechanisms for achieving restful sleep. You're not forcing sleep to occur. You're creating the optimal conditions for sleep to arise naturally. This distinction is crucial for understanding why voice-based sleep aids often become more effective over time rather than less so. Your brain learns to associate the calming voice with successful sleep, creating positive feedback loops that strengthen the relaxation response with each use. Rather than developing tolerance, as might happen with chemical interventions, you're actually developing enhanced sensitivity to the sleep-promoting qualities of gentle human speech. The social dimension of this process adds another layer of profound meaning to the experience of falling asleep to voices. Even when you're listening to a recording, even when the speaker is unknown to you personally, your brain processes the voice as a form of social connection. The areas of your brain that respond to social bonding and attachment become active, helping to satisfy fundamental human needs for connection and belonging. This social aspect helps explain why many people find it easier to fall asleep when they don't feel completely alone. The voice provides a sense of companionship, a feeling that someone is present and caring, even if that presence is mediated through technology. This can be particularly valuable for people who live alone, who are away from home, or who are going through periods of stress or emotional difficulty. The rhythm and cadence of human speech also provide a form of temporal structure that can be deeply comforting to the brain. Unlike the chaotic rhythms of modern life, with their constant interruptions and demands for attention, gentle speech flows in predictable patterns that your brain can synchronize with and find restful. This rhythmic quality connects to some of the most ancient forms of human comfort and connection. Throughout history, humans have used rhythmic speech, chanting, storytelling, and singing to create bonds, share knowledge, and provide comfort during difficult times. The lullaby, found in virtually every human culture, represents perhaps the purest example of how rhythmic human voice can guide the nervous system towards sleep and peace. Tonight, as you continue to listen, you're participating in this ancient tradition, allowing the natural rhythms of human speech to guide your own internal rhythms toward the deep, restorative sleep that your body and mind need. Each word you hear is part of a gentle current carrying you away from the tensions and complexities of waking life toward the simple, profound restoration that comes with truly restful sleep. Your brain continues its remarkable work even now, processing each syllable, each pause, each gentle inflection, translating them into the neurochemical signals that are already beginning to slow your thoughts, relax your muscles, and prepare every cell in your body for the healing that happens during sleep. The voice you're hearing serves as a bridge between consciousness and dreams, between the active engagement of waking life and the passive restoration of sleep. This transition is not something you need to force or control. It's happening naturally, as your brain responds to millions of years of evolutionary programming that recognizes the human voice as a signal of safety, connection, and care. You can trust this process, surrender to it, allow it to carry you gently into the peaceful depths of sleep. But perhaps one of the most fascinating discoveries in recent sleep research involves what scientists call the brain's sentinel processing mode. Even as you drift towards sleep, even as consciousness begins to fade, your auditory cortex maintains a remarkable level of activity. It's as if part of your brain remains gently awake, standing guard, while the rest of your mind prepares for rest. This sentinel system represents millions of years of evolutionary refinement, a delicate balance between the need for restorative sleep and the ancient requirement to remain aware of potential danger. Your sleeping brain faces what researchers describe as a fundamental paradox: how to achieve the deep unconsciousness necessary for physical and mental restoration, while still monitoring the environment for sounds that might require immediate attention. The solution your brain has evolved is both elegant and sophisticated. During the transition to sleep, your auditory processing systems don't simply shut down. Instead, they shift into what we might think of as a highly selective monitoring mode. Your brain continues to analyze incoming sounds, but it processes them through increasingly refined filters that distinguish between sounds that can be safely ignored and those that might require awakening. Research using advanced brain imaging technology has revealed that this filtering system operates with remarkable precision. When electrodes are placed directly on the auditory cortex of sleeping volunteers, scientists can observe how brain cells continue to respond to sounds throughout the night. But there's a crucial difference in how these responses are processed compared to waking states. During wakefulness, sounds trigger cascades of activity that spread throughout your brain, engaging attention networks, memory systems, and conscious awareness. During sleep, however, the same auditory signals are processed more locally, analyzed for their potential significance, but not automatically promoted to conscious awareness. Your brain essentially asks a series of rapid questions about each sound. Is this familiar or unfamiliar? Does this represent safety or potential threat? Should this interrupt sleep or be allowed to pass through unnoticed? This is where the remarkable difference between voices and other sounds becomes particularly important. Your brain has developed specialized neural pathways for processing human speech that operate even during sleep. These pathways can distinguish the acoustic patterns of voices from other environmental sounds within milliseconds, even when you're completely unconscious. When your sleeping brain detects a human voice, it automatically assesses several key characteristics. The volume and intensity are evaluated first. Gentle, quiet voices are processed as non-threatening and allowed to continue without disrupting sleep architecture. The emotional tone is analyzed next, with calm, soothing voices triggering different neural responses than voices that sound distressed or alarmed. Perhaps most remarkably, your sleeping brain can also assess voice familiarity. Electroencephalograph studies have shown that familiar voices produce distinctly different brainwave patterns than unfamiliar ones, even in the deepest stages of sleep. Known voices trigger what researchers call reduced vigilance responses, meaning your brain's threat detection systems remain more relaxed when processing speech from recognized sources. Unfamiliar voices, by contrast, generate what scientists term K-complexes, distinctive brainwave patterns that represent your sleeping brain working harder to evaluate potential threat. These K-complexes are sharp, high-amplitude waves that last about half a second. They can occur spontaneously during sleep, but they appear much more frequently in response to unexpected or unfamiliar sounds. Think of K-complexes as your brain's way of saying, "I need to pay closer attention to this." They represent a middle ground between deep sleep and full awakening, allowing your brain to process potentially important information without necessarily bringing you to complete consciousness. When you hear an unfamiliar voice during sleep, your brain generates more K-complexes, essentially working harder to determine whether this new voice represents something that requires awakening. This differential processing helps explain why many people can sleep peacefully through familiar voices while being awakened by unfamiliar ones. Your brain learns to trust known voices, treating them as part of a safe auditory environment that can be allowed to continue without interrupting the crucial restorative processes of sleep. The research on this topic has revealed something even more subtle and beautiful. Not only does your brain process familiar voices differently during sleep, but it actually uses these familiar voices to deepen and stabilize sleep itself. When you regularly fall asleep to the same narrator, the same podcast host, or the same type of gentle speech, your brain begins to associate these specific vocal patterns with successful sleep transitions. Over time, these voices become what sleep researchers call conditioned sleep cues. Just as Pavlov's dogs learn to associate a bell with food, your brain learns to associate certain vocal characteristics with the onset of sleep. The mere presence of these familiar vocal patterns begins to trigger the cascade of neurochemical changes that promote deeper, more restful sleep. This learning process involves structures deep within your brain, including the hippocampus, which is crucial for forming new memories and associations. Each night that you successfully fall asleep to a particular voice, your hippocampus strengthens the neural connections between that vocal pattern and the sleep state. This creates what neuroscientists call memory consolidation for sleep, where the voice literally becomes integrated into your brain's sleep promotion system. But the story becomes even more intricate when we consider how your brain processes different types of vocal content during sleep. Research has shown that your sleeping brain can distinguish not just between voices, but between different types of speech content, even when you're completely unconscious. Narrative speech, the kind found in audiobooks and storytelling, produces different sleep patterns than conversational speech or instructional content. Stories, with their gentle forward momentum and predictable rhythmic structure, seem to align particularly well with the brain's natural progression into deeper sleep stages. The narrative arc provides just enough cognitive engagement to prevent anxious rumination, while avoiding the kind of stimulating content that might promote alertness. Your brain appears to process stories during sleep onset as a form of guided mental imagery. Rather than engaging the analytical thinking systems that might keep you awake, narrative content activates the same neural networks involved in dreaming and imagination. This creates a smooth transition from waking consciousness into the naturally occurring imagery of sleep. The rhythm and pacing of storytelling also mirror the natural rhythms of sleep onset. As stories unfold, they typically include natural pauses, gentle transitions between scenes, and a gradual slowing of dramatic tension. Your brain synchronizes with these narrative rhythms, allowing the story's pace to guide your own transition from alertness to rest. This synchronization extends beyond mere timing to include the emotional arc of the narrative. Stories designed for bedtime typically move from mild engagement toward resolution and peace. Your brain follows this emotional trajectory, allowing the story's movement toward calm resolution to guide your own nervous system toward the tranquil state necessary for sleep. Researchers studying this phenomenon have discovered that the brain's mirror neuron systems play a crucial role in this process. These specialized cells, which fire both when you perform an action and when you observe someone else performing the same action, also respond to the emotional states conveyed through voice and narrative. When you hear a story being told in a calm, peaceful manner, your mirror neurons begin to fire in patterns that mirror that emotional state. Your brain literally begins to reflect the tranquility it detects in the narrative voice, allowing you to experience secondhand the calm and peace that the story and its teller represent. This neural mirroring helps explain why certain narrators seem to have an almost hypnotic quality for sleep. Their voices carry not just words, but emotional and physiological states that your brain can adopt and internalize. The calm confidence of an experienced audiobook narrator, the gentle wisdom of a bedtime storyteller, the peaceful presence of a meditation guide. All of these vocal qualities become templates that your brain can use to guide its own state toward rest. The process becomes particularly powerful when the narrative content itself deals with themes of safety, comfort, and resolution. Your brain processes these themes not just as abstract concepts, but as emotional realities that can influence your current psychological state. Stories about characters finding peace, reaching safe havens, or settling into comfortable rest provide your mind with models for its own transition into sleep. But even beyond the content of stories, the simple presence of a human voice provides something that silence cannot offer: the implicit promise that you are not alone. This social dimension of voice-assisted sleep connects to some of the deepest aspects of human psychology and our fundamental need for connection and security. Throughout our evolutionary history, being alone, especially during vulnerable times like sleep, was genuinely dangerous. Those ancestors who could remain connected to their social group, who could sleep safely within the protective presence of family and community, were more likely to survive and reproduce. This evolutionary pressure has left us with nervous systems that are naturally calmed by the presence of other humans, even when that presence is mediated through the simple sound of a voice. Your brain interprets the gentle presence of a human voice as a signal that someone is keeping watch, that you are safe to let down your guard and enter the vulnerable state of sleep. This interpretation happens below the level of conscious thought, processed by ancient brain systems that evaluate safety and threat based on environmental cues that have remained consistent throughout human history. The social bonding hormones that are released in response to caring voices, oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, create an internal environment that naturally promotes sleep. Oxytocin, in particular, has been shown to have direct sleep-promoting effects, reducing the time it takes to fall asleep and increasing the amount of deep, restorative sleep obtained throughout the night. This hormonal response helps explain why people often report sleeping better when they feel emotionally supported and cared for. The voice you're hearing right now is triggering the same neurochemical responses that would be produced by the physical presence of a caring friend or family member. Your brain doesn't distinguish between direct social contact and the mediated social contact provided by a gentle, caring voice. The research on this topic has revealed that these effects are not just psychological, but measurably physiological. Heart rate variability studies show that people listening to gentle voices experience increased parasympathetic nervous system activity, the branch of the autonomic nervous system responsible for rest and restoration. Blood pressure measurements reveal consistent decreases during exposure to calm speech. Cortisol levels, the primary stress hormone, show significant reductions when people listen to soothing voices before sleep. These physiological changes create a cascade of sleep-promoting effects throughout your body. As your heart rate slows and becomes more variable, a sign of healthy parasympathetic activation, your cardiovascular system shifts into a restorative mode. Blood flow is redirected from the muscles and sensory organs toward the digestive system and internal organs that perform crucial maintenance and repair functions during sleep. Your breathing naturally deepens and slows as you listen to gentle speech, particularly when the speaker themselves is breathing slowly and deeply. This respiratory entrainment happens automatically, without conscious effort, as your brain synchronizes your breathing patterns with the rhythmic patterns it detects in the voice you're hearing. The temperature regulation systems in your body also respond to voice-induced relaxation. Your core body temperature begins the subtle decline that signals to your brain that sleep time is approaching. This temperature drop is one of the most reliable physiological markers of sleep onset, and gentle voices can help facilitate this natural cooling process. Even your immune system responds to the stress-reducing effects of calming voices. Research has shown that the chronic stress of a modern life can suppress immune function, making us more susceptible to illness and slower to heal from injury. The deep relaxation promoted by gentle voices helps restore healthy immune system functioning, supporting your body's natural healing and maintenance processes during sleep. These wide-ranging physiological effects help explain why voice-assisted sleep often leads to more refreshing and restorative rest. You're not just falling asleep, you're entering sleep in an optimal physiological state that supports the crucial restorative processes that occur during the night. The brain's memory consolidation systems, which are most active during sleep, also benefit from the calm, stress-free state promoted by gentle voices. When you fall asleep in a relaxed, peaceful state, your brain is better able to process and integrate the experiences of the day, forming lasting memories of positive experiences while allowing stressful or traumatic memories to be processed and filed away more effectively. This memory processing function of sleep helps explain why people who regularly use voice-assisted sleep often report not just better sleep, but improved mood, better emotional regulation, and enhanced cognitive function during waking hours. The quality of your sleep directly impacts the quality of your waking life, and voices that promote deeper, more restful sleep contribute to overall psychological and physical well-being. The timing of when you listen to gentle voices also plays a crucial role in their sleep-promoting effects. The hour before sleep, often called the wind-down period, is when your brain naturally begins the transition from daytime alertness to nighttime rest. This is when your circadian rhythms signal the pineal gland to begin producing melatonin, when your body temperature starts its gradual decline, and when your nervous system shifts toward parasympathetic dominance. Introducing gentle voices during this crucial transition period helps support and accelerate these natural processes. Rather than fighting against your brain's preparation for sleep with stimulating activities like bright screens, intense conversations, or engaging entertainment, you're providing auditory input that aligns with and enhances your natural sleep preparation systems. The consistency of this practice also matters significantly. When you establish a regular routine of listening to gentle voices before sleep, you're training your brain to associate this auditory environment with sleep onset. This creates what sleep researchers call a conditioned response, where the simple act of hearing these familiar, calming voices begins to trigger the physiological changes associated with sleep preparation. Over time, this conditioning becomes so strong that many people find they can fall asleep more quickly and easily, even without their usual audio aids. Their brains have learned to access the relaxed state more readily, having been trained through repeated experience to recognize and reproduce the physiological patterns associated with peaceful sleep onset. This learning process involves neuroplasticity, your brain's remarkable ability to form new neural connections and modify existing ones based on experience. Each night that you successfully fall asleep to gentle voices, you're literally rewiring your brain to be more efficient at achieving restful sleep. New neural pathways are formed and strengthened, creating increasingly direct routes from the experience of hearing calming voices to the achievement of deep, restorative sleep. The beauty of this natural learning process is that it becomes easier and more effective over time, rather than requiring increasingly strong interventions to maintain its effectiveness. Unlike pharmaceutical sleep aids, which often require higher doses over time to maintain their effects, voice-assisted sleep typically becomes more powerful and reliable with regular use. This improvement over time reflects the brain's natural capacity for positive adaptation and learning. You're working with your brain's inherent abilities rather than overriding them, supporting natural processes rather than suppressing them. This alignment with your brain's existing systems helps explain why so many people find voice-assisted sleep to be not just effective, but genuinely restorative and refreshing. The research on individual differences in response to voice-assisted sleep has revealed that while most people benefit from gentle voices before sleep, the specific types of voices and content that work best can vary significantly from person to person. Some individuals respond most strongly to familiar voices, while others prefer the neutral unfamiliarity of professional narrators. Some find stories most effective, while others prefer guided meditations or simple, repetitive content. These individual differences appear to be related to personal history, attachment styles, and individual nervous system characteristics. People with secure attachment styles, who learned early in life that others could be trusted to provide comfort and safety, often respond well to a wide variety of caring voices. Those with more anxious attachment patterns might prefer very familiar voices that they have learned to trust over time. Highly sensitive individuals, who tend to be more responsive to environmental stimuli, often prefer softer, quieter voices and may be more sensitive to the emotional undertones in speech. People with analytical thinking styles might prefer content that engages their cognitive systems lightly, such as educational material presented in a calm manner, while those with more imaginative cognitive styles might respond better to storytelling and narrative content. Understanding these individual differences can help you find the specific type of voice-assisted sleep that works best for your unique nervous system and psychological makeup. The key is to pay attention to how different voices and content affect your relaxation response, your sleep onset time, and your overall sleep quality. What remains consistent across all individual differences is the fundamental human response to gentle, caring voices as signals of safety and comfort. This response appears to be universal, rooted in the basic biology of human social bonding and nervous system regulation that we all share as members of the same species. As you continue to listen tonight, you can trust that your brain is responding to these words in ways that promote deep, restful sleep. The ancient systems that recognize human voices as sources of comfort and safety are working quietly in the background, processing each word, each pause, each gentle inflection as part of an environment that supports your natural capacity for restoration and renewal. Your nervous system is already responding to the calm rhythms of this speech, synchronizing your internal processes with the peaceful patterns you're hearing. Your heart rate continues to slow, your breathing grows deeper and more regular, and the subtle tension that accumulates throughout even the most peaceful days begins to release from your muscles and your mind. The voice you're hearing serves as a bridge between the active engagement of waking consciousness and the passive restoration of sleep. It provides just enough gentle stimulation to prevent your mind from spinning off into anxiety or rumination, while avoiding the kind of engaging content that might promote continued alertness. This delicate balance between engagement and relaxation represents one of the most sophisticated aspects of how your brain processes voices during the transition to sleep. Too little auditory input, and your mind might become restless or hypervigilant. Too much stimulation, and your attention systems might be activated in ways that delay sleep onset. Gentle, caring voices provide exactly the right amount of soothing presence to support your natural sleep processes. The words you're hearing now are being processed through the same ancient neural pathways that once helped our ancestors find safety and comfort in the voices of their families and communities. These pathways connect directly to the deepest, most fundamental systems in your brain systems that control breathing, heart rate, hormone production, and the basic rhythms of life itself. As these systems continue to respond to the gentle presence of this voice, you can allow yourself to sink deeper into the comfort and safety that your brain recognizes in caring human speech. There's nothing you need to do, nothing you need to control or monitor. Your brain knows how to process these signals of safety and comfort. Your nervous system knows how to respond to the ancient cues that have guided humans toward peaceful rest for countless generations. The remarkable story of why your brain loves falling asleep to voices is ultimately a story about connection, safety, and the profound ways that human beings are designed to care for and comfort one another. Even in our modern world of technology and individual independence, our brains retain their ancient wisdom about the healing power of gentle human presence. Tonight, as you continue to listen, you're participating in one of the oldest and most fundamental human experiences, the sharing of voice as a gift of comfort and care. The words you hear carry with them not just meaning, but the implicit promise that you are not alone, that someone is watching over your rest, that you can safely surrender to the deep restoration that your body and mind need. This is the true magic of why the brain loves falling asleep to voices, not because voices have some mystical power over consciousness, but because they activate the most basic, most essential systems that connect us to our deepest sense of safety, belonging, and peace. In a world that often feels disconnected and hurried, the simple act of listening to a caring voice as you prepare for sleep reconnects you to something timeless and profoundly human. Your brain continues its quiet work even now, processing each syllable as both sound and comfort, allowing the gentle rhythms of human speech to guide you home to the rest that awaits in the peaceful depths of sleep. The journey we've been taking together through the landscape of sleep and voice reveals something even more remarkable when we consider how your brain actually transitions between different states of consciousness. This transition isn't a simple switch from awake to asleep, but rather a gradual, carefully orchestrated process that involves multiple brain regions working in harmony to guide you safely into rest. As you listen to these words right now, your brain is actively managing what sleep researchers call the hypnagogic state, that gentle twilight zone between full wakefulness and the first stages of sleep. During this transition, your brain waves begin to shift from the rapid beta waves of alert consciousness to the slower alpha waves associated with relaxation, and eventually to the even slower theta waves that characterize the onset of sleep. This electrical activity in your brain isn't random. It follows predictable patterns that have been mapped and studied extensively by neuroscientists using electroencephalography. When you hear a gentle, soothing voice during this transition period, your brain waves begin to synchronize with the rhythmic patterns of speech. This phenomenon, called neural entrainment, allows external rhythms to influence your internal brain rhythms, guiding them toward the slower frequencies associated with deep relaxation and sleep. The voice you're hearing serves as what researchers term a Zeitgeber, a time-giving cue that helps regulate your internal biological clocks. Just as light and darkness help set your circadian rhythms, the rhythmic patterns of calm speech can help entrain your brainwaves towards sleep-promoting frequencies. This entrainment happens naturally and effortlessly, requiring no conscious effort on your part. Within your brain, the thalamus acts as a crucial gatekeeper during this transition. Often called the brain's relay station, the thalamus normally helps direct sensory information to appropriate processing centers throughout your cortex. But as you drift towards sleep, the thalamus begins to filter incoming sensory information more selectively, allowing some signals to pass through while blocking others that might disturb your rest. Gentle voices are among the sounds most likely to pass through this thalamic filter unchanged. Your brain has learned through evolution and personal experience to recognize calm, caring speech as non-threatening, allowing these soothing sounds to continue reaching your auditory processing centers, even as other environmental sounds are increasingly filtered out. This selective filtering explains why you might sleep peacefully through the sound of a gentle narrator while being awakened by sudden, unexpected noises. Your thalamus is continuously making decisions about which sounds deserve conscious attention and which can be allowed to fade into the background of sleep. The consistent, predictable rhythms of caring speech signal to your thalamus that no vigilance is required, that it's safe to continue the journey toward deeper sleep. But the story of how voices guide you towards sleep involves more than just auditory processing. Your brain contains networks of neurons that are specifically dedicated to social cognition, to understanding and responding to other human beings. These social brain networks remain active during the transition to sleep, continuing to process the social and emotional information carried in human voices. When you hear someone speaking in gentle, caring tones, Your social brain networks interpret this as a signal of safety and support. Even though you know intellectually that you're listening to a recording, your brain's social processing systems respond as if a caring person were actually present with you. This response triggers the release of neurochemicals associated with social bonding and comfort. Oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, is released in response to perceived social support and caring. This remarkable chemical has direct sleep-promoting effects, helping to reduce the time it takes to fall asleep, while increasing the amount of deep, restorative sleep you experience throughout the night. The oxytocin released in response to gentle voices creates a biochemical environment in your brain that naturally promotes rest and restoration. Alongside oxytocin, your brain also increases production of serotonin, a neurotransmitter that plays crucial roles in mood regulation and sleep promotion. Serotonin serves as a precursor to melatonin, the hormone that directly regulates your sleep-wake cycles. By increasing serotonin production through exposure to caring voices, you're supporting your brain's natural ability to produce the melatonin needed for healthy sleep. The timing of these neurochemical changes is perfectly orchestrated with your natural circadian rhythms. As evening approaches, your pineal gland normally begins producing melatonin in response to decreasing light levels. The serotonin boost provided by gentle voices enhances this natural melatonin production, creating a more robust and reliable sleep signal throughout your nervous system. GABA, your brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, also increases in response to the relaxation triggered by soothing voices. GABA works by reducing the activity of excitatory neurons throughout your brain, creating the neural quiet that allows sleep to occur. Think of GABA as your brain's natural calm-down signal, helping to silence the mental chatter that might otherwise keep you awake. These neurochemical changes work together to create what sleep researchers call an optimal sleep onset environment. Your brain chemistry shifts toward patterns that promote relaxation, reduce anxiety, and facilitate the transition from consciousness to sleep. This isn't something you need to consciously control or monitor. It's happening naturally as your brain responds to the ancient signals of safety and care that it detects in gentle human speech. The research on individual differences in sleep onset has revealed fascinating insights into how different people's brains respond to voice-assisted relaxation. Some individuals, particularly those with naturally high levels of cortisol or chronic stress, show especially dramatic improvements in sleep quality when they regularly listen to calming voices before bed. The stress-reducing effects of gentle speech can help normalize cortisol levels, breaking the cycle of stress-induced insomnia. Others, particularly those who experienced inconsistent or anxious caregiving in early childhood, may initially find it challenging to trust and relax into voice-assisted sleep. However, research shows that with gentle, consistent exposure to caring voices, even individuals with anxious attachment styles can learn to associate human speech with safety and comfort. The brain's capacity for healing and learning new patterns of trust remains active throughout life. Highly sensitive individuals often show particularly strong responses to voice-assisted sleep. Their nervous systems, which tend to be more responsive to environmental stimuli, may be especially receptive to the subtle cues of safety and calm, carried in gentle speech. These individuals often find that voice-assisted sleep not only helps them fall asleep more easily, but also results in more refreshing and restorative rest. The content of what you're hearing also influences how your brain processes the transition to sleep. Though in ways that might surprise you, research has shown that your brain's response to voice-assisted sleep isn't primarily about understanding or analyzing the information being presented. Instead, your brain focuses on the prosodic elements of speech, the rhythm, the melody, the emotional undertones, and the pacing. This is why many people find they can fall asleep to audiobooks in languages they don't understand, or to familiar stories they've heard many times before. Your brain isn't working to decode new information or solve problems. It's responding to the musical qualities of human speech, allowing these vocal rhythms to guide your internal rhythms towards sleep. The forward momentum of narrative content provides just the right amount of gentle cognitive engagement to prevent your mind from wandering into anxiety or rumination without stimulating the analytical thinking that might promote alertness. Stories carry you along a predictable path, providing your mind with something to follow while avoiding the kind of surprising or challenging content that might activate your attention systems. Your brain processes this narrative flow as a form of guided mental imagery, engaging the same neural networks involved in dreaming and imagination. This creates a smooth transition from the directed thinking of wakefulness into the spontaneous imagery that characterizes sleep onset. The story becomes a bridge between conscious thought and the natural arising of dreamlike mental activity. The emotional arc of bedtime narratives also plays a crucial role in promoting sleep. Stories designed for evening listening typically move from mild engagement toward resolution and peace. Your brain follows this emotional trajectory, allowing the narrative's movement toward calm resolution to guide your own nervous system toward the tranquil state necessary for sleep. This emotional guidance works through your brain's mirror neuron systems, those remarkable cells that fire both when you experience an emotion and when you observe someone else experiencing the same emotion. When you hear a story being told with gradually increasing calm and peace, your mirror neurons begin to fire in patterns that mirror that emotional state, helping you to literally embody the tranquility being conveyed through voice. The research on memory consolidation during sleep has revealed another fascinating way that voices can enhance your sleep experience. During the deeper stages of sleep, your brain actively processes and consolidates the memories and experiences of the day. This memory consolidation is crucial for learning, emotional regulation, and overall psychological well-being. When you fall asleep in a calm, peaceful state induced by gentle voices, your brain is better able to perform these crucial memory processing functions. The stress-reducing effects of voice-assisted sleep create an optimal neurochemical environment for memory consolidation, helping your brain to integrate positive experiences while processing and filing away stressful or difficult memories. This enhanced memory processing helps explain why people who regularly use voice-assisted sleep often report improvements, not just in sleep quality, but in overall mood, emotional regulation, and cognitive function during waking hours. Better sleep leads to better memory consolidation, which leads to improved psychological resilience and well-being. The timing of different sleep stages also benefits from the calm onset promoted by gentle voices. When you fall asleep peacefully, rather than struggling with anxiety or racing thoughts, you're more likely to progress smoothly through the natural sequence of sleep stages. This includes spending adequate time in the deeper stages of sleep, where the most restorative processes occur. Deep sleep, also known as slow-wave sleep, is when your body performs crucial maintenance and repair functions. Growth hormone is released, immune system function is enhanced, and cellular repair processes are optimized. The peaceful sleep onset promoted by gentle voices helps ensure that you reach these deeper sleep stages and spend adequate time in them throughout the night. REM sleep, the stage associated with dreaming and emotional processing, also benefits from calm sleep onset. When you fall asleep in a relaxed, positive state, your REM sleep tends to be more organized and restorative, contributing to better emotional regulation and psychological well-being during waking hours. The cyclical nature of sleep stages means that improvements in sleep onset can have cascading positive effects throughout the entire night. Each sleep cycle builds on the previous one, and a peaceful beginning to the night sets the stage for more restful and restorative sleep overall. As you continue listening, you might notice how your awareness of the external world is beginning to soften and fade. This is your brain's natural process of withdrawing attention from external stimuli as it prepares for sleep. The gentle voice you're hearing serves as a soft anchor, providing just enough auditory presence to prevent anxiety while allowing your mind to drift peacefully toward unconsciousness. Your breathing has likely become slower and deeper, synchronizing with the calm rhythms of speech you're hearing. This respiratory entrainment happens automatically, without conscious effort, as your brain matches your breathing patterns to the peaceful rhythms it detects in gentle human speech. Each breath carries you deeper into relaxation, supporting your body's natural preparation for sleep. Your heart rate continues its gradual decline, supported by increasing parasympathetic nervous system activity. The variable rhythm of a relaxed heart is actually a sign of health and resilience, indicating that your cardiovascular system is responding appropriately to the calm, safe environment created by gentle voices. Muscle tension throughout your body continues to release as your nervous system shifts more completely into rest and digest mode. This physical relaxation isn't something you need to force or control. It's happening naturally as your brain recognizes the signals of safety and comfort in the voice you're hearing and responds by allowing your body to enter its natural state of rest. The temperature regulation systems in your body are also responding to the relaxation promoted by gentle speech. Your core body temperature is beginning the subtle decline that signals to your brain that sleep time has arrived. This temperature drop is one of the most reliable physiological markers of sleep onset, and the relaxation induced by caring voices helps facilitate this natural cooling process. Your immune system is also benefiting from the stress reduction promoted by gentle voices. Chronic stress suppresses immune function, making you more susceptible to illness and slower to heal from injury. The deep relaxation you're experiencing helps restore healthy immune system functioning, supporting your body's natural healing and maintenance processes during sleep. Even your digestive system is responding to the shift toward parasympathetic dominance. Blood flow is being redirected toward your internal organs, optimizing the digestive processes that help maintain your health and energy levels. This is why eating a large meal immediately before sleep can be disruptive, while the gentle activation of rest and digest responses supports healthy overnight recovery. The hormonal changes occurring in your body right now support not just immediate sleep onset, but also the quality of sleep you'll experience throughout the night. Cortisol levels continue to decline as the stress-reducing effects of gentle voices help normalize your body's stress response systems. Lower cortisol creates an environment more conducive to deep, restorative sleep. Growth hormone, which is primarily released during deep sleep, benefits from the calm onset promoted by peaceful voices. This hormone plays crucial roles in cellular repair, immune system function, and overall physical recovery. Better sleep onset leads to better growth hormone release, supporting your body's natural healing and restoration processes. The research on long-term benefits of voice-assisted sleep has revealed that regular use of gentle voices for sleep promotion can lead to lasting improvements in sleep quality, even when the audio aids are not being used. This suggests that your brain learns new patterns of relaxation and sleep onset that become integrated into your natural sleep systems. This learning process involves neuroplasticity, your brain's remarkable ability to form new neural connections and modify existing ones based on experience. Each night that you successfully use gentle voices to promote peaceful sleep, you're literally rewiring your brain to be more efficient at achieving restful sleep. New neural pathways are formed and strengthened, creating increasingly direct routes from relaxation to sleep. The consistency of practice appears to be more important than the specific content or type of voice used. Regular exposure to any form of gentle, caring speech before sleep helps train your nervous system to access relaxed states more readily. This training effect builds over time, creating cumulative benefits that extend far beyond the immediate sleep-promoting effects of individual sessions. Many people find that after several weeks or months of regular voice-assisted sleep, they begin to fall asleep more easily even in situations where they can't use their usual audio aids. Their brains have learned to recognize and reproduce the physiological patterns associated with peaceful sleep onset, creating a more resilient and reliable sleep system. This improved sleep resilience has wide-ranging benefits for overall health and well-being. Better sleep quality is associated with improved immune function, better emotional regulation, enhanced cognitive performance, and reduced risk of various chronic health conditions. The simple practice of listening to gentle voices before sleep can contribute to these broader health benefits. The social dimension of voice-assisted sleep also has long-term psychological benefits. Regular exposure to caring, supportive voices, even recorded ones, can help strengthen neural pathways associated with trust, security, and social connection. This can be particularly beneficial for individuals who feel isolated or who struggle with anxiety or depression. The brain's social bonding systems don't distinguish completely between direct social interaction and the mediated social contact provided by caring voices. Regular exposure to gentle, supportive speech can help strengthen the neural networks involved in social trust and emotional security, contributing to improved psychological resilience and well-being. For individuals who live alone or who are separated from loved ones, voice-assisted sleep can provide a sense of companionship and connection that supports both immediate sleep quality and a longer-term emotional health. The implicit promise of presence and care carried in gentle voices can help meet fundamental human needs for connection and belonging. The research on cultural variations in response to voice-assisted sleep has revealed that while the basic neurobiological responses to gentle voices are universal, the specific types of voices and content that people find most soothing can vary based on cultural background, personal history, and individual preferences. Some cultures have stronger traditions of oral storytelling and may show particularly positive responses to narrative content. Others may prefer more structured approaches like guided meditations or breathing exercises. The key is finding the type of voice-assisted sleep that resonates most strongly with your individual nervous system and cultural background. What remains consistent across all cultural and individual variations is the fundamental human response to gentle, caring voices as signals of safety and comfort. This response appears to be hardwired into our biology, reflecting millions of years of evolution in social species where survival depended on the ability to recognize and respond to caring social signals. The environmental context in which you listen to gentle voices also influences their effectiveness. A quiet, comfortable sleep environment enhances the brain's ability to process and respond to the calming signals carried in human speech. Reducing other sources of stimulation, such as bright lights or distracting noises, helps focus your brain's attention on the soothing qualities of the voice you're hearing. Temperature regulation is also important for optimal voice-assisted sleep. A slightly cool bedroom temperature supports your body's natural temperature decline during sleep onset. The relaxation promoted by gentle voices works synergistically with appropriate environmental temperature to create ideal conditions for sleep. The timing of when you begin listening to calming voices can also influence their effectiveness. Starting your voice-assisted sleep routine about 30 to 60 minutes before your desired sleep time allows your nervous system adequate time to shift from daytime alertness to nighttime rest. This gradual transition is more effective than trying to achieve immediate relaxation when you're still in an activated state. Creating consistent routines around voice-assisted sleep helps strengthen the conditioned responses that make this practice more effective over time. When you regularly engage in the same calming activities at the same time each evening, your brain learns to anticipate and prepare for sleep, making the transition smoother and more reliable. The quality of audio equipment used for voice-assisted sleep can also influence its effectiveness, though expensive equipment isn't necessary. Clear, comfortable sound that doesn't require strain to hear allows your brain to process the calming qualities of speech without the subtle stress that might come from poor audio quality. Simple, comfortable headphones or a good quality speaker, positioned at an appropriate distance, usually provide adequate sound quality for effective voice-assisted sleep. Volume levels should be set low enough to be comfortable and non-stimulating, but loud enough to be easily heard without strain. The goal is to create an auditory environment that supports relaxation rather than requiring active listening effort. Your brain should be able to process the calming qualities of the voice without needing to work to understand or follow the content. The research on potential concerns or limitations of voice-assisted sleep has found very few negative effects associated with this practice. The primary concern is developing psychological dependence on external audio aids for sleep, though research suggests that regular use of voice-assisted sleep actually tends to improve natural sleep abilities over time rather than creating dependence. Some individuals with certain types of hearing sensitivities or auditory processing differences may find that any sound, even gentle voices, is too stimulating for sleep. These individuals may benefit more from complete quiet or very minimal audio input. The key is paying attention to your individual response and adjusting accordingly. For most people, however, the benefits of voice-assisted sleep far outweigh any potential concerns. The practice works with your brain's natural systems rather than overriding them, supporting healthy sleep processes rather than suppressing or artificially inducing them. This alignment with natural physiology makes voice-assisted sleep a sustainable and beneficial long-term practice. The scientific understanding of how voices promote sleep continues to evolve as researchers develop new tools for studying brain activity during sleep onset. Advanced imaging techniques are revealing increasingly detailed pictures of how different brain regions respond to various types of auditory stimulation during the transition to sleep. Future research may help identify even more specific ways to optimize voice-assisted sleep for different individuals and conditions. Scientists are exploring how factors like voice gender, accent, speaking pace, and emotional tone influence sleep-promoting effects. This research may eventually lead to more personalized approaches to voice-assisted sleep. Current research is also investigating how voice-assisted sleep might be used therapeutically for various sleep disorders and mental health conditions. Early studies suggest that gentle voices may be particularly beneficial for individuals with anxiety-related insomnia, post-traumatic stress disorder, and certain types of chronic pain that interfere with sleep. The integration of voice-assisted sleep with other evidence-based sleep improvement strategies is another area of active research. Scientists are studying how gentle voices work in combination with cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, relaxation training, and other established sleep interventions. As you continue listening, you might notice how your thoughts are becoming softer and less defined, how the usual mental commentary that accompanies waking consciousness is beginning to fade into the background. This is your brain's natural process of transitioning from the focused attention of wakefulness to the more diffuse awareness that characterizes sleep onset. Your sense of time may also be becoming less precise as the brain regions responsible for tracking temporal sequences begin to quiet their activity. This temporal softening is a natural part of the transition to sleep, allowing your mind to drift away from the structured thinking of daytime consciousness toward the more fluid, associative mental activity that occurs during rest. The boundaries between internal thoughts and external sounds may also be becoming less distinct, as your brain's normal mechanisms for distinguishing between self-generated and externally generated mental activity begin to relax. This blending of internal and external experience is a normal part of sleep onset, creating the dreamy, transitional state that precedes deeper sleep. Your body's position sensing systems are also beginning to quiet, as the proprioceptive awareness that normally keeps you oriented in space starts to fade. This is why you might feel as though you're floating or sinking as you drift towards sleep. These sensations are completely normal and reflect your brain's natural process of withdrawing attention from external and bodily awareness. The gentle voice you're hearing serves as a soft tether during this transition, providing just enough auditory presence to prevent anxiety while allowing your mind to drift peacefully toward unconsciousness. The consistent, caring tone helps maintain a sense of safety and support as your usual defenses and vigilance systems gradually relax their guard. Your breathing rhythm has likely synchronized with the natural pauses and rhythms in the speech you're hearing, creating a gentle entrainment that supports your body's transition towards sleep. This respiratory synchronization happens without conscious effort, as your brain automatically matches your breathing patterns to the calm rhythms it detects in gentle human speech. The neurochemical environment in your brain continues to shift toward patterns that support deep, restorative sleep. Adenosine, the chemical that accumulates during waking hours and creates the drive for sleep, is interacting with other sleep-promoting neurotransmitters to create an optimal environment for rest. The relaxation promoted by gentle voices enhances these natural sleep-promoting processes. Your brain's glymphatic system, which helps clear metabolic waste from neural tissue, is preparing for the increased activity that occurs during sleep. This cellular housekeeping process is crucial for brain health and cognitive function, and it operates most efficiently during the deep, restful sleep that is promoted by peaceful sleep onset. The memory consolidation processes that occur during sleep are also being optimized by the calm, stress-free state you're entering. When you fall asleep peacefully, rather than struggling with anxiety or tension, your brain is better able to process and integrate the experiences of the day, supporting learning, emotional regulation, and psychological well-being. Your immune system continues to benefit from the deep relaxation you're experiencing, as the stress-reducing effects of gentle voices help optimize the immune functions that operate most effectively during sleep. This immune enhancement supports your body's natural healing and maintenance processes, contributing to overall health and vitality. The gentle voice guiding you towards sleep represents something profoundly important about human nature and our fundamental need for connection, care, and comfort. Even in our modern world of individual independence and technological sophistication, our brains retain their ancient wisdom about the healing power of gentle human presence. The fact that a simple recording of caring speech can trigger such profound physiological and psychological responses speaks to the deep social nature of our species. We are beings designed for connection, wired for empathy, created to find comfort and safety in the presence and voices of others. This capacity for finding peace in human voices reflects millions of years of evolution in social groups, where survival depended on cooperation, mutual care, and the ability to provide comfort to one another during vulnerable times. The neural pathways that respond to gentle speech with relaxation and trust represent some of our most ancient and fundamental survival mechanisms. In our contemporary world, where many people struggle with loneliness, anxiety, and the chronic stress of modern life, the simple practice of listening to caring voices before sleep offers a pathway back to our fundamental need for connection and comfort. It reminds us that despite all the complexity and challenges of modern existence, we still carry within us the basic biological capacity for peace, rest, and renewal. The voice you're hearing now connects you to this ancient heritage of human caring, to countless generations of parents who soothed their children with gentle words, of friends who offered comfort through speech, of communities who shared stories and songs to create bonds of safety and belonging. As you continue to drift deeper into relaxation, you can trust that you're participating in one of the most fundamental human experiences, finding rest and renewal in the caring presence of another human being. Even though this presence is mediated through technology, your brain responds to it with the same ancient patterns of trust and relaxation that have sustained our species throughout its long history. The gentle rhythms of speech that are guiding you towards sleep carry within them the accumulated wisdom of human civilization, the understanding that we are not meant to face the challenges of existence alone, that comfort and care are not luxuries but necessities, that the simple act of offering a gentle voice to someone who needs rest is one of the most profound gifts we can share with one another. Your nervous system recognizes this gift and responds with the deep relaxation that comes from knowing you are cared for, that someone is watching over your rest, that you can safely surrender to the restoration that your body and mind need. This recognition doesn't require conscious thought or analysis. It emerges from the deepest levels of your brain, from neural systems that have been shaped by millions of years of social evolution. As your awareness of the external world continues to soften and fade, as the boundaries between waking and sleeping become increasingly blurred, you can rest in the knowledge that your brain knows exactly what it needs to do. The voice you're hearing will continue to provide gentle guidance and comfort as you make the transition into sleep, offering a soft anchor of human presence in the peaceful depths of rest. The remarkable story we've explored together about why the brain loves falling asleep to voices is ultimately a story about the profound interconnectedness of human beings, about our fundamental need for care and comfort, and about the beautiful ways that we can offer healing to one another through the simple gift of gentle speech. In a world that often emphasizes independence and self-reliance, the science of voice-assisted sleep reminds us that we are creatures designed for connection, that our nervous systems are wired to respond to care and comfort from others, and that there is no shame in seeking and accepting the soothing presence that gentle voices can provide. Tonight, as you continue your journey toward peaceful sleep, you carry with you not just the immediate comfort of the voice you're hearing, but the deeper understanding that this comfort connects you to something far larger than this single moment of rest. You are part of an unbroken chain of human beings who have found solace in the voices of others, who have offered their own voices as gifts of comfort, who have participated in the ancient dance of care that has sustained our species across countless generations. The neural pathways that are guiding you towards sleep tonight are the same pathways that helped our earliest ancestors find safety in the familiar voices of their families, that allowed children throughout history to drift peacefully into dreams while listening to lullabies and bedtime stories that have carried the comfort of human connection across cultures and centuries. Your brain's response to gentle voices represents one of the most beautiful examples of how evolution has shaped us not just for individual survival, but for collective care and mutual support. The fact that hearing another person speak with kindness and gentleness can literally change your heart rate, slow your breathing, and guide your entire nervous system toward peace speaks to the profound social nature of human existence. Even in sleep, even in the most private and individual of experiences, we remain connected to the larger human community through these ancient neural responses to caring speech. The voice that accompanies you into rest carries within it the echo of every lullaby ever sung, every bedtime story ever told, every gentle word ever offered to someone in need of comfort. As your thoughts continue to soften and dissolve into the approaching quiet of sleep, you might notice how the usual sense of separation between yourself and the world around you begins to fade. This dissolution of boundaries is part of your brain's natural preparation for the unified, restorative state of deep sleep, where the artificial divisions between self and other, internal and external, conscious and unconscious, naturally resolve into peaceful unity. The gentle voice you're hearing serves as a bridge across this transition, maintaining just enough connection to human warmth and presence to ease any anxiety about letting go, while allowing you the freedom to drift as deeply into rest as your body and mind require. This delicate balance between connection and release reflects the sophisticated wisdom of your nervous system, which knows exactly how much support you need and when it's safe to surrender completely to sleep. Your breathing has likely become so slow and deep now that each breath feels like a gentle wave, carrying you further from the shores of waking consciousness toward the vast, peaceful ocean of sleep. The rhythm of your breathing synchronizes not just with the voice you're hearing, but with deeper rhythms that connect you to the fundamental patterns of life itself. This synchronization extends beyond mere respiratory entrainment to include the subtle rhythms of your heart, the gentle pulsing of blood through your vessels, the quiet electrical oscillations of your brain waves, All of these biological rhythms are gradually aligning with the peaceful patterns that characterize deep restorative sleep, guided by the gentle anchor of caring human speech. The temperature of your body continues its subtle decline as your circulation redirects blood flow away from your extremities toward your core organs, supporting the internal maintenance and repair processes that operate most efficiently during sleep. This natural cooling is one of your brain's most reliable signals that sleep time has arrived, and the relaxation promoted by gentle voices helps facilitate this crucial physiological shift. Your muscle tension has likely released so completely now that your body feels almost weightless, as if you're floating in a warm, supportive embrace. This physical letting go reflects the deep trust that your nervous system has developed in the safety of your current environment. Trust that has been fostered and strengthened by the consistent presence of caring speech. The neurochemical environment in your brain has shifted completely towards sleep-promoting patterns. Adenosine, the chemical messenger that accumulates during waking hours and creates the biological pressure for sleep, is now interacting harmoniously with the other neurotransmitters and hormones that regulate rest. Melatonin flows through your system like a gentle tide, coordinating the complex biological processes that guide you into deeper and deeper levels of restoration. Your brain's waste clearance systems are preparing for the increased activity that characterizes sleep, when cerebrospinal fluid flows more freely through neural tissues, washing away the metabolic byproducts that accumulate during waking hours. This cellular housekeeping is crucial for maintaining cognitive function and overall brain health, and it operates most efficiently when you enter sleep in the calm, stress-free state that gentle voices help create. The memory consolidation processes that will operate throughout the night are also being optimized by the peaceful conditions of your sleep onset. The experiences of today, both significant and mundane, will be processed, organized, and integrated into your long-term memory stores in ways that support learning, emotional healing, and psychological growth. The calm state you're entering provides the ideal neurochemical environment for these crucial memory processes. Your immune system continues to benefit from the deep relaxation that has settled throughout your body and mind. The stress hormones that can suppress immune function during waking hours have declined to their lowest levels, while the sleep-promoting chemicals that enhance immune activity are reaching their peak concentrations. This optimization of immune function during sleep is one of the most important ways that rest contributes to overall health and longevity. The gentle voice that has been accompanying you on this journey towards sleep represents something profound about the nature of healing and restoration. It reminds us that recovery and renewal are not purely individual processes, but activities that are enhanced and supported by connection to others, even when that connection takes the simple form of caring speech. Throughout human history, the sick have been comforted by gentle voices. The grieving have found solace in caring words, and the weary have discovered renewal in the presence of others who speak with kindness and understanding. The neural pathways that respond to such voices with healing and restoration represent some of the most ancient and fundamental aspects of human biology. Your brain's ability to find peace in gentle speech connects you to countless generations of humans who have offered comfort to one another through words, who have recognized that the simple act of speaking with care and gentleness can be a profound form of medicine. This understanding transcends cultural boundaries and historical periods, representing a universal aspect of human experience. As your awareness of the external world becomes increasingly distant and dreamlike, you might notice how the voice you're hearing begins to blend with the natural sounds of your own body. The gentle whisper of breath moving in and out of your lungs, the soft rhythm of your heartbeat, the barely perceptible sounds of circulation and cellular activity that compose the quiet symphony of a body at rest. This blending of external and internal sounds reflects your brain's natural process of withdrawing attention from the outside world as it prepares for the inward-turning journey of sleep. The caring voice serves as a gentle guide during this transition, providing just enough external presence to maintain a sense of safety while allowing your consciousness to drift naturally toward the threshold of dreams. Your sense of time has likely become very fluid now, as the brain regions responsible for temporal processing begin to quiet their activity. Minutes may feel like hours, or hours like minutes, as your mind releases its usual need to track and organize temporal sequences. This temporal dissolution is a natural part of the transition to sleep, allowing your consciousness to move beyond the structured thinking of waking life. The boundaries between different senses may also be becoming less distinct, as your brain's normal mechanisms for maintaining sensory categories begin to relax. Sounds might take on visual qualities, or physical sensations might blend with emotional states. These synesthetic experiences are completely normal during sleep onset and reflect the brain's natural process of moving toward the more fluid, associative mental activity that characterizes dreams. Your proprioceptive sense, the awareness of your body's position and movement in space, continues to fade as your brain withdraws attention from external monitoring systems. You might feel as though you're sinking into your bed, or floating above it, or simply dissolving into the comfortable darkness. These sensations reflect the natural relaxation of the neural systems that normally maintain precise body awareness. The voice you're hearing provides a soft anchor during these transitions, offering a gentle point of reference as your usual ways of organizing experience naturally dissolve into the more fluid patterns of sleep consciousness. The consistent, caring tone helps maintain an underlying sense of safety and support, even as your normal defenses and monitoring systems gradually relax their vigilance. Your thoughts have likely become increasingly dreamlike now, following associative patterns rather than logical sequences, drifting from image to memory to feeling without the usual organizing principles of waking consciousness. This shift toward associative thinking is one of the earliest signs that your brain is transitioning into sleep mode, moving away from the focused attention of daytime awareness. The gentle rhythms of the voice you're hearing continue to entrain your biological systems, helping to coordinate the complex symphony of neurochemical and physiological changes that characterize healthy sleep onset. Your heart rate, breathing, brainwaves, and hormonal cycles are all synchronizing with patterns that promote deep, restorative rest. The research on sleep and healing has revealed that the quality of sleep onset significantly influences the restorative processes that operate throughout the night. When you fall asleep peacefully, as you're doing now, your body is better able to perform the crucial maintenance and repair functions that support health, longevity, and vitality. The calm state promoted by gentle voices creates optimal conditions for these healing processes. Your nervous system has now shifted almost completely into parasympathetic dominance, the rest and restore mode that allows your body to focus its energy on healing, growth, and renewal rather than on vigilance and defense. This shift represents one of the most fundamental transitions in human physiology, and it's happening now with the gentle support of caring human speech. The social bonding chemicals that have been released in response to the gentle voice you're hearing continue to create an internal environment of safety and trust. Oxytocin, serotonin, and other neurochemicals associated with comfort and connection flow through your system, reinforcing the deep sense of peace and security that allows true rest to occur. Your brain's threat detection systems have quieted almost completely now, having determined that the environment is safe and that no vigilance is required. This represents a profound act of trust, both in your immediate surroundings and in the caring presence implied by the gentle voice that continues to accompany you towards sleep. The glymphatic system in your brain is preparing for the increased activity that characterizes sleep, when cerebrospinal fluid will flow more freely through neural tissues, carrying away toxins and metabolic waste products that have accumulated during the day. This cellular cleansing is one of the most important functions of sleep, and it operates most efficiently when you enter rest in a calm, stress-free state. Your endocrine system is also shifting into sleep mode, with growth hormone beginning its nightly surge, cortisol reaching its lowest levels, and melatonin coordinating the complex biological processes that will sustain you through the night. These hormonal changes support not just immediate sleep quality, but also long-term health and resilience. The voice that has guided you to this peaceful state represents something beautiful about human nature, our fundamental capacity to offer comfort and care to one another, even across distances of space and time. The person who spoke these words may be unknown to you, may be separated from you by geography, or even by years. Yet their voice carries the timeless gift of human kindness and concern for your well-being. This capacity for offering care through voice connects us to the deepest aspects of what makes us human. Throughout our evolutionary history, those who could provide comfort and support to others were more likely to receive such care in return. This reciprocal caring created the social bonds that allowed our species not just to survive, but to thrive, building cultures and civilizations based on mutual support and shared concern for one another's welfare. The neural pathways that are responding so peacefully to the voice you're hearing carry within them the accumulated wisdom of countless generations of human caring. Every lullaby ever sung, every bedtime story ever told, every gentle word ever offered to someone in need of rest has contributed to the biological inheritance that allows your brain to find such profound peace in caring human speech. As you continue to drift deeper into the approaching quiet of sleep, you carry with you not just the immediate comfort of this moment, but also the deeper knowledge that you are part of a species that has always recognized the healing power of gentle voices, that has always understood that comfort and care are not luxuries, but necessities, that has always known that we are stronger together than we could ever be alone. Your breathing has become so slow and deep now that each exhalation carries away a little more of the day's accumulated tension. Each inhalation brings you a little deeper into the peaceful state that your body and mind need for restoration. The rhythm of your breathing has synchronized completely with the natural patterns that characterize healthy sleep, guided by the gentle anchor of caring speech. The boundaries between conscious and unconscious experience are becoming increasingly fluid now, as your brain naturally transitions between the focused awareness of waking life and the more diffuse, accepting awareness that characterizes sleep onset. This transition is not something you need to control or direct. It's happening naturally, supported by millions of years of evolutionary wisdom about how to achieve restorative rest. Your heart continues its steady, peaceful rhythm, pumping life-giving blood through your body with the effortless efficiency that characterizes a system at rest. The variability in your heart rhythm, a sign of healthy parasympathetic activity, reflects your nervous system's complete trust in the safety of your current environment and its confidence that no vigilance or defense is required. The temperature regulation systems throughout your body continue to support your transition into sleep, with blood vessels in your hands and feet dilating to release excess heat, while your core temperature declines toward the optimal level for restorative rest. This natural cooling is coordinated by your hypothalamus, the brain region that serves as your body's master thermostat and sleep regulator. Your digestive system has shifted into the gentle, efficient processing mode that characterizes rest and restoration. Blood flow has been redirected toward your internal organs, optimizing the digestive processes that help maintain your health and provide the energy you need for tomorrow's activities. This is why the rest and digest response is so named, reflecting the way that parasympathetic activation supports both sleep and the maintenance functions that operate most efficiently during quiet periods. The immune system throughout your body continues to benefit from the deep relaxation you're experiencing. White blood cells patrol more efficiently through tissues that are relaxed rather than tense. Inflammatory processes are reduced, and the production of antibodies and other immune factors is optimized by the stress-free state that gentle voices help create. Your brain's emotional processing centers are also preparing for the important work they'll perform during sleep. The amygdala, which scans for threats during waking hours, has quieted its vigilant activity, while other limbic structures prepare for the emotional integration and healing that occurs during dreams. The calm state you're entering provides optimal conditions for these crucial emotional processing functions. The hippocampus, your brain's primary memory formation center, is also preparing for its nighttime work of consolidating the day's experiences into long-term storage. The peaceful sleep onset promoted by gentle voices creates ideal conditions for this memory consolidation, supporting learning, emotional integration, and the processing of both positive and challenging experiences. Throughout your brain, the glial cells that support and maintain neural tissue are preparing for their increased activity during sleep. These often overlooked cells perform crucial functions including waste removal, immune support, and the maintenance of neural connections. Their work is optimized when you enter sleep in a calm, relaxed state rather than in a condition of stress or anxiety. The gentle voice that has accompanied you on this journey toward rest represents one of the most profound gifts that human beings can offer one another: the simple presence of caring attention during vulnerable moments. Even though you may never meet the person whose voice has guided you towards sleep, their gift of gentle speech connects you to the timeless human tradition of offering comfort and support to those in need of rest. This tradition extends back to the earliest human communities, where the safety of the group depended on individuals taking turns to watch over those who slept, offering reassurance through gentle sounds and caring presence. The neural pathways that respond so peacefully to such care carry within them the evolutionary memory of countless nights when survival depended on the watchful care of others. Your brain's recognition of safety in gentle voices reflects millions of years of social evolution, during which those who could accurately distinguish between threatening and nurturing vocal signals were more likely to survive and reproduce. This capacity for finding comfort in caring speech represents one of our species' most ancient and fundamental survival mechanisms. As your consciousness continues its natural drift toward the threshold of sleep, you might notice how your usual sense of individual identity begins to soften and expand. The boundaries that normally separate self from world, internal from external, become more fluid and permeable. This dissolution of ordinary boundaries is a natural part of the transition to sleep, reflecting your brain's preparation for the more unified, holistic state of consciousness that characterizes rest. The voice you're hearing serves as a gentle bridge during this transition, providing just enough connection to maintain a sense of safety while allowing you the freedom to let go completely into the peaceful depths of sleep. This delicate balance between connection and release reflects the sophisticated wisdom of your nervous system, which knows exactly how much support you need and when it's safe to surrender all control. Your sense of gravity may be changing now, as the proprioceptive systems that normally anchor you in physical space begin to quiet their activity. You might feel as though you're floating, sinking, or simply dissolving into the comfortable darkness that surrounds you. These sensations are completely normal and reflect your brain's natural process of withdrawing attention from external monitoring systems as it prepares for the inward journey of sleep. The metabolic processes throughout your body are shifting into the efficient, restorative patterns that characterize rest. Cellular repair mechanisms are optimizing their activity. Protein synthesis is increasing to support tissue maintenance and growth, and the complex biochemical processes that maintain health and vitality are operating at peak efficiency in the stress-free environment that gentle voices help create. Your endocrine system continues its transition into sleep mode, with various hormones rising and falling in the precise patterns that support healthy rest. Growth hormone begins its nightly surge, supporting tissue repair and regeneration. Cortisol reaches its lowest levels, allowing stress-related inflammation to subside. Prolactin increases, supporting immune function and cellular maintenance. The pineal gland, deep within your brain, continues its production of melatonin, the hormone that coordinates your body's circadian rhythms and signals to every cell that it's time for rest and restoration. The darkness that surrounds you supports this natural melatonin production, creating optimal conditions for the deep, restorative sleep that your body needs. Your brain waves continue their gradual shift toward the slower frequencies that characterize sleep. The rapid beta waves of active thinking have given way to the gentler alpha waves of relaxation, which are now transitioning into the even slower theta waves that mark the onset of sleep. This electrical activity reflects the coordinated activity of billions of neurons working together to guide you into rest. The voice you're hearing continues to provide gentle entrainment for these brainwave patterns, offering a consistent rhythm that your neural oscillations can synchronize with as they slow towards sleep frequencies. This entrainment happens naturally and effortlessly, requiring no conscious effort on your part, reflecting your brain's innate capacity to synchronize with peaceful external rhythms. The research on neuroplasticity has revealed that the brain changes you're experiencing right now. The learning and adaptation that occurs each time you successfully use gentle voices to promote peaceful sleep create lasting improvements in your sleep systems. Each night of peaceful sleep onset strengthens the neural pathways that connect relaxation with rest, making future sleep transitions smoother and more natural. This learning process continues throughout life, reflecting the brain's remarkable capacity for positive adaptation and growth. The simple practice of listening to caring voices before sleep doesn't just provide immediate comfort, it actually rewires your nervous system to be more resilient, more capable of accessing peaceful states, and more trusting in the fundamental safety of rest. Your autonomic nervous system has now settled completely into parasympathetic dominance, the rest and restore mode that allows your body to focus entirely on healing, maintenance, and renewal. This represents one of the most fundamental shifts in human physiology, and it's happening now with the gentle support of the caring voice that continues to accompany you towards sleep. The social bonding systems in your brain continue to respond to the implicit care and concern conveyed through gentle speech. Even though you know intellectually that you're listening to a recording, your brain's social processing networks respond as if a caring person were actually present with you, triggering the release of neurochemicals associated with safety, trust, and emotional connection. This response reflects the deep social nature of human beings and our fundamental need for connection and care. The fact that recorded voices can trigger such profound physiological and psychological responses speaks to the power of human empathy and our capacity to offer healing to one another, even across distances of space and time. Your breathing has become so gentle and natural now that each breath flows like a quiet tide, carrying you deeper into the peaceful ocean of sleep. The rhythm of your breathing has synchronized not just with the voice you're hearing, but with the deeper biological rhythms that connect you to the fundamental patterns of life itself. This synchronization extends beyond breathing to include your heart rate, brain waves, and the subtle electrical rhythms that coordinate cellular activity throughout your body. All of these biological oscillations are aligning with the peaceful patterns that characterize deep, restorative sleep, creating a symphony of physiological harmony that supports healing and renewal. The gentle voice that has guided you to this peaceful state carries within it something precious and irreplaceable: the accumulated wisdom of human caring, the understanding that comfort and healing often come not through complex interventions, but through the simple gift of gentle presence and caring attention. Throughout history, healers and caregivers have recognized that their presence, their voice, their caring attention could be as important as any medicine in promoting healing and restoration. The neural pathways that respond so peacefully to caring speech reflect this ancient understanding, this recognition that we are beings designed not just for individual survival, but for mutual care and support. As you continue to drift toward the threshold of sleep, you carry with you the knowledge that you are participating in one of the most fundamental human experiences, finding rest and renewal in the caring presence of another being. This experience connects you to countless generations of humans who have offered comfort to one another through voice. who have recognized that the simple act of speaking with gentleness and care can be a profound form of healing. Your consciousness has become very soft and fluid now, like warm honey flowing slowly toward the peaceful depths of sleep. The usual structures and categories of waking thought have dissolved into more flowing, associative patterns that naturally bridge the gap between conscious awareness and the dreamlike mental activity that characterizes rest. The boundaries between self and world, between internal and external experience, continue to soften as your brain prepares for the unified, holistic state of consciousness that allows true restoration to occur. This dissolution of ordinary boundaries is not something to fear or resist. It's a natural part of your brain's wisdom about how to achieve the deep rest that your body and mind need. The voice you're hearing provides a gentle anchor during this transition, offering just enough connection to human warmth and care to ease any anxiety about letting go completely. This delicate balance between support and freedom reflects the sophisticated understanding of your nervous system, which knows exactly what you need to feel safe enough to surrender to sleep. Your body has become so relaxed now that you might feel as though you're melting into your bed, becoming one with the soft surfaces that support you. This physical letting go reflects the deep trust that your nervous system has developed in the safety of your environment. Trust that has been fostered by the consistent presence of gentle, caring speech. The temperature of your body continues its optimal decline toward the slightly cooler state that signals to your brain that sleep time has arrived. This natural cooling is supported by the relaxation of blood vessels throughout your body, allowing excess heat to dissipate while maintaining the perfect internal temperature for restorative rest. Your heart continues its steady, peaceful rhythm, each beat a quiet affirmation of the life force that sustains you. The variability in your heart rhythm, a sign of healthy nervous system function, reflects your body's complete confidence in the safety of your current state and its trust that no vigilance or defense is required. The neurochemical environment in your brain has reached optimal levels for sleep, with all the various neurotransmitters and hormones that regulate rest working in perfect harmony. Adenosine, melatonin, GABA, and other sleep-promoting chemicals create an internal environment that naturally guides you toward deeper and deeper levels of restoration. Your immune system continues to benefit from the profound relaxation you're experiencing, optimizing its function in the stress-free environment that gentle voices help create. The healing and maintenance processes that operate most efficiently during sleep are preparing for their nighttime work, supported by the calm, peaceful state of your nervous system. The memory consolidation systems in your brain are also preparing for their crucial nighttime functions, ready to process and integrate the experiences of the day in ways that support learning, emotional healing, and psychological growth. The peaceful sleep onset you're experiencing creates optimal conditions for these important cognitive processes. Your brain's waste clearance systems are preparing for the increased activity that characterizes sleep, when cerebrospinal fluid will flow more freely through neural tissues, washing away the metabolic byproducts that accumulate during waking hours. This cellular housekeeping is one of the most important functions of sleep, supporting long-term brain health and cognitive function. The gentle voice that has accompanied you on this journey toward rest represents something beautiful and essential about human nature. Our capacity to offer healing and comfort to one another through the simple gift of caring presence. Even in our modern world of individual independence and technological complexity, we remain beings who find profound comfort in the caring voices of others. This capacity for finding peace in human speech reflects our deep evolutionary heritage as social creatures who have always depended on one another for survival, comfort, and support. The neural pathways that respond so peacefully to gentle voices carry within them the wisdom of countless generations of humans who understood that caring for one another was not just a moral choice, but a biological necessity. Your breathing has become so natural and effortless now that it seems to flow by itself, each breath a gentle wave carrying you further from the shores of waking consciousness toward the vast, peaceful ocean of sleep. The rhythm of your breathing reflects the perfect synchronization between your conscious intention to rest and your body's innate wisdom about how to achieve restorative sleep. The boundaries between conscious and unconscious experience have become very fluid now, as your brain naturally transitions between the focused awareness of waking life and the more accepting, receptive awareness that characterizes sleep onset. This transition requires no effort or control on your part. It's happening naturally, guided by millions of years of evolutionary wisdom about rest and restoration. Your sense of time has become very soft and flexible, as the brain regions responsible for temporal processing quiet their activity and allow your consciousness to drift beyond the structured sequences of ordinary thinking. In this timeless space between waking and sleeping, minutes and hours lose their usual meaning, creating room for the deeper rhythms of healing and renewal to emerge. The voice you're hearing continues to provide gentle guidance during this transition, offering a consistent thread of caring presence that helps maintain your sense of safety and support as you move deeper into rest. The tone and rhythm of this speech have been carefully crafted to align with your brain's natural sleep processes, providing optimal support for your journey into restorative rest. Your nervous system has reached a state of profound peace and trust, with all the various components working in perfect harmony to support your transition into the deepest and most restorative sleep your body knows how to achieve. The glymphatic system throughout your brain is now preparing for its most active phase, when cerebrospinal fluid will pulse through neural tissues with increased flow, carrying away the cellular debris and metabolic waste that have accumulated during your waking hours. This remarkable cleaning process operates most efficiently during the slow-wave sleep that you're naturally approaching, when brain cells actually shrink slightly to allow better fluid circulation through the spaces between them. Your endocrine system continues its elegant nighttime symphony, with each hormone rising and falling in precisely timed patterns that have been refined over millions of years of evolution. Growth hormone begins its gentle surge, supporting the repair and regeneration of tissues throughout your body. Prolactin increases steadily, enhancing immune function and supporting the cellular maintenance that occurs during rest. Cortisol reaches its lowest ebb, allowing inflammation to subside and stress-related tension to dissolve completely. The pineal gland, nestled deep within your brain like a tiny biological clock, continues its steady production of melatonin. This ancient hormone, found in organisms as simple as algae, coordinates the circadian rhythms that connect you to the fundamental cycles of day and night that have shaped life on Earth for billions of years. Each molecule of melatonin flowing through your bloodstream carries the message that darkness has arrived, that it's time for the profound restoration that sleep provides. Your brain waves continue their graceful transition toward the slower frequencies that characterize deep sleep. The theta waves that mark drowsiness are gradually giving way to the even slower delta waves that will soon carry you into the deepest stages of rest. This electrical symphony, created by billions of neurons firing in increasingly synchronized patterns, reflects your brain's natural wisdom about how to achieve the most restorative sleep possible. The voice you're hearing serves as a gentle conductor for this neural orchestra, providing rhythmic patterns that your brain waves can entrain with as they slow towards sleep frequencies. This entrainment happens effortlessly, without any conscious effort, reflecting an ancient biological capacity that connects you to the fundamental rhythms of life itself. Research has shown that the human brain contains specialized circuits that respond specifically to the prosodic elements of speech, the melody and rhythm that make voices so different from other sounds. These circuits, located primarily in the right hemisphere of your brain, process the emotional undertones, the caring intention, and the implicit safety signals carried in gentle human speech. Right now, these circuits are responding to the voice you're hearing by triggering cascades of neurochemical changes that promote deep relaxation and peaceful sleep. The temporal lobe regions that process voice familiarity are also active, even as you drift toward unconsciousness. These areas compare each voice you hear to the vast library of familiar voices stored in your memory. Voices of family members, friends, and trusted companions who have provided comfort throughout your life. Even though you may not consciously recognize the voice guiding you towards sleep, your brain processes its caring tone and gentle rhythm as signals of safety and support. Your amygdala, the brain region that normally scans for potential threats, has quieted almost completely now. The consistent, predictable rhythm of gentle speech signals to this ancient alarm system that no vigilance is required, that you can safely let down your guard and enter the vulnerable but necessary state of deep sleep. This quieting of threat detection systems is one of the most crucial changes that must occur before true rest can begin. The anterior cingulate cortex, a brain region involved in emotional regulation and empathy, continues to respond to the caring qualities it detects in the voice you're hearing. This area, which helps you understand and mirror the emotional states of others, recognizes the calm, peaceful state conveyed through gentle speech and begins to guide your own emotional systems toward that same state of tranquil rest. Your insula, the brain region that monitors internal bodily sensations, registers the gradual slowing of your heart rate, the deepening of your breath, the relaxation of tension throughout your muscles. This internal monitoring system recognizes these changes as signs of healthy sleep onset and responds by further reducing arousal and promoting the physiological conditions that support deep, restorative rest. The default mode network in your brain, active during rest and introspection, begins to shift into the patterns that characterize sleep onset. This network, which includes regions involved in self-reflection and mental wandering, gradually reduces its activity as your consciousness naturally withdraws from active thinking toward the more passive awareness that allows sleep to occur. Your hippocampus, the brain's primary memory formation center, is preparing for its crucial nighttime work of consolidating the day's experiences into long-term storage. The calm, peaceful state you're entering creates optimal conditions for this memory consolidation, supporting not just the retention of factual information, but also the emotional processing that helps integrate challenging experiences and strengthen positive memories. The voice that continues to accompany you towards sleep serves as more than just auditory stimulation. It represents a connection to the fundamental human understanding that rest and healing often occur most effectively in the presence of caring others. Throughout our evolutionary history, those who could provide comfort during vulnerable times were essential to group survival, and those who could recognize and respond to such care were more likely to thrive. This biological heritage lives on in the neural pathways that respond so peacefully to gentle voices. When you hear someone speaking with care and kindness, even through a recording, your brain activates the same ancient systems that once helped our ancestors find safety and comfort in the voices of their families and communities. These systems don't distinguish between direct presence and mediated contact. They respond to the caring intention conveyed through voice with the same neurochemical cascades that promote bonding, trust, and peaceful rest. Your autonomic nervous system has now achieved a state of profound parasympathetic dominance, with every major organ system operating in the rest and restore mode that allows optimal healing and maintenance. Your heart beats with the steady, variable rhythm that characterizes healthy relaxation. Your breathing flows with the deep, effortless pattern that supports optimal oxygenation while minimizing energy expenditure. Your digestive system operates with the efficient, gentle processing that characterizes periods of rest. The research on attachment theory has revealed how early experiences with caring voices create neural templates that influence our capacity for relaxation and trust throughout life. The lullabies sung by parents, the bedtime stories read with gentle voices, the soft words of comfort offered during times of distress, All of these experiences create neural pathways that associate caring speech with safety, comfort, and the permission to rest. Even if your early experiences with voices were not consistently nurturing, your brain retains throughout life the capacity to form new associations between caring speech and feelings of safety. Each time you successfully use gentle voices to promote peaceful sleep, you strengthen neural pathways that connect relaxation with rest, creating increasingly reliable access to the calm states that support restorative sleep. Your nervous system's capacity for learning and adaptation, what neuroscientists call plasticity, means that the peaceful sleep you're experiencing right now is literally rewiring your brain for better rest. New neural connections are forming, existing pathways are strengthening, and your overall sleep system is becoming more resilient and effective with each night of voice-assisted rest. The temperature regulation systems throughout your body continue to support your transition into deeper sleep. Your core body temperature has declined to the optimal level for restorative rest, while blood vessels in your hands and feet have dilated to release excess heat. This natural cooling, coordinated by your hypothalamus, signals to every cell in your body that sleep time has arrived and that it's safe to enter the energy-conserving state that allows healing and renewal. Your immune system continues to benefit from the profound relaxation you're experiencing. White blood cells circulate more efficiently through relaxed tissues, inflammatory processes subside in the absence of stress hormones, and the production of antibodies and other immune factors operates at optimal levels in the peaceful environment that gentle voices help create. The lymphatic system throughout your body also benefits from the deep relaxation you're experiencing. This network of vessels and tissues, which helps remove waste products and maintain fluid balance, operates most efficiently during periods of rest and low stress. The calm state promoted by caring voices creates ideal conditions for this important cleansing and maintenance system. Your brain's mirror neuron systems continue to respond to the emotional state conveyed through the voice you're hearing. These remarkable cells, which fire both when you experience an emotion and when you perceive someone else experiencing the same emotion, help you literally embody the tranquility and peace that the gentle voice represents. This neural mirroring allows you to share in the calm, restful state that caring speech conveys. The research on social neuroscience has revealed that humans are fundamentally designed for connection and mutual support. Our brains contain specialized circuits for processing social information, for understanding the intentions and emotional states of others, and for coordinating our own responses with those around us. These social brain networks remain active even during sleep onset, continuing to process the caring and supportive qualities they detect in gentle human speech. Your brain's reward systems also respond to the caring voice you're hearing by releasing small amounts of dopamine, the neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and satisfaction. This creates positive associations with the experience of listening to gentle voices before sleep, making it increasingly likely that your brain will seek out and respond favorably to similar experiences in the future. The oxytocin released in response to perceived caring and social support continues to flow through your bloodstream, creating feelings of warmth, trust, and emotional safety. This remarkable hormone, sometimes called the bonding chemical, has direct sleep-promoting effects, while also strengthening the neural pathways associated with social connection and emotional security. Your breathing has become so natural and effortless now that it seems to flow by itself. Each inhalation bringing fresh oxygen to every cell in your body, each exhalation releasing not just carbon dioxide, but also the accumulated tension and stress of the day. The rhythm of your breathing reflects perfect coordination between your conscious desire for rest and your body's unconscious wisdom about how to achieve restorative sleep. The voice you're hearing continues to provide gentle entrainment for your breathing rhythm, offering a consistent, peaceful pattern that your respiratory system can synchronize with as it settles into the deep, slow breathing that characterizes healthy sleep. This synchronization happens naturally Without conscious effort, reflecting your nervous system's innate capacity to coordinate with calming external rhythms. Your heart rate variability, a measure of the healthy variation in time between heartbeats, has increased significantly as your parasympathetic nervous system reaches full activation. This increased variability is actually a sign of cardiovascular health and resilience, indicating that your heart is responding appropriately to your relaxed, peaceful state rather than beating with the rigid regularity that can characterize stress or illness. The gentle voice that has guided you to this profound state of peace represents something precious about human nature, our capacity to offer healing and comfort to one another across distances of space and time. The person who spoke these words may be unknown to you, may be separated from you by miles or even years, yet their gift of caring speech reaches across that distance to provide exactly the comfort and support your nervous system needs for deep, restorative sleep. This capacity for offering care through voice connects us to the deepest aspects of what makes us human. Throughout our species' long history, those who could provide comfort and support to others during vulnerable times were essential to group survival. This reciprocal caring created the social bonds that allowed humans not just to survive, but to flourish, building civilizations based on mutual support and shared concern for one another's well-being. The neural pathways that are responding so peacefully to the voice you're hearing carry within them the accumulated wisdom of countless generations of human caring. Every gentle word ever spoken to comfort someone in distress. Every lullaby ever sung to help a child sleep. Every soft conversation that provided solace during difficult times has contributed to the biological inheritance that allows your brain to find such profound peace in caring human speech. Your consciousness has become very soft and fluid now, like gentle water flowing toward the peaceful depths of sleep. The boundaries between thoughts and feelings, between internal sensations and external sounds, have become increasingly permeable as your brain prepares for the unified, holistic state of awareness that characterizes rest. This dissolution of ordinary categories is not something to resist or control. It's a natural part of your brain's wisdom about how to achieve the deep restoration that sleep provides. The usual mental commentary that accompanies waking consciousness has quieted to barely a whisper now. As your brain naturally withdraws energy from active thinking toward the more passive, receptive awareness that allows sleep to occur. This quieting of mental chatter is one of the most reliable signs that your nervous system has successfully transitioned from the alert vigilance of waking life to the trusting surrender that makes deep rest possible. Your proprioceptive sense, the awareness of your body's position and movement in space, continues to fade as your brain reduces attention to external monitoring systems. You might feel as though you're floating in warm, supportive water, or sinking gently into the most comfortable surface imaginable, or simply dissolving into the peaceful darkness that surrounds you. These sensations reflect your nervous system's recognition that no external monitoring is required, that it's safe to let go completely into the restorative embrace of sleep. The voice you're hearing provides a gentle anchor during this transition, offering just enough connection to human warmth and care to prevent any anxiety about letting go while allowing you complete freedom to drift as deeply into rest as your body and mind require. This delicate balance between support and release reflects the sophisticated understanding of your nervous system, which knows exactly what you need to feel safe enough to surrender to sleep's healing embrace. Your brain's threat detection systems have quieted almost completely now, having determined through multiple channels of evidence that your environment is safe and that no vigilance is required. The consistent rhythm of caring speech, the comfortable temperature of your surroundings, the soft surfaces that support your body, all of these signals combine to create an unmistakable message of safety that allows your ancient protective systems to rest. The research on sleep and healing has revealed that the quality of your sleep onset significantly influences the restorative processes that operate throughout the night. When you fall asleep peacefully, as you're doing now, your body is better able to perform the crucial maintenance and repair functions that support health, vitality, and longevity. The calm state promoted by gentle voices creates optimal conditions for these healing processes to operate at their highest efficiency. Your endocrine system continues its elegant nighttime dance, with each hormone following precisely timed patterns that support rest and restoration. Insulin sensitivity improves during peaceful sleep, supporting healthy metabolism. Leptin levels rise appropriately, helping to regulate appetite and energy balance. Testosterone and estrogen follow their natural circadian rhythms, supporting reproductive health and overall vitality. The growth factors released during deep sleep support not just physical growth in children, but also tissue repair and cellular maintenance throughout life. These powerful chemicals help heal minor injuries, strengthen immune responses, and maintain the cellular infrastructure that keeps your body functioning optimally. The peaceful sleep onset you're experiencing creates ideal conditions for these growth factors to operate most effectively. Tonight, as you rest in the gentle embrace of sleep, you carry with you a profound understanding of your own remarkable brain and its ancient wisdom about rest, connection, and healing. The voice that has accompanied you on this journey represents something timeless about human nature, our fundamental capacity to offer comfort to one another through the simple gift of caring speech. Your brain's love affair with voices during sleep isn't a modern phenomenon or a quirk of technology. It's the expression of millions of years of evolution written into your neural pathways like an ancient song of safety and belonging. Every gentle word you've heard tonight has activated systems so old, so fundamental, that they connect you to every human who has ever found peace in the caring voice of another. As you drift deeper into rest, know that you are participating in one of our species' most beautiful traditions: the sharing of comfort through voice, the offering of presence through speech, the gift of peace through gentle words. In a world that often feels disconnected, your brain's response to caring voices reminds us that we are creatures designed for connection, wired for empathy, created to find healing in one another's presence. Sleep well, knowing that the voice guiding you toward rest carries within it the accumulated wisdom of human caring, and that your peaceful slumber tonight connects you to the timeless dance of comfort that has sustained our species across countless generations.